Hello, John. I just thought I'd put my thoughts down to your last question in a video because yeah, for reasons we could discuss another time. Um, so your question was roughly what you were going to kind of aim for in your next deadlift session. So one of the things I really wanted to get you to do is just basically I'd like you to spend a year just deadlift training without really worrying about PBs because you've only just started deadlift training, as you've admitted you've done it less than a handful of times. As I pointed out, your technique really wasn't terrible at all. There are a couple of things if I wanted to get like picky, and I'm sure other people could get really picky, but the grounding was there. Your back was straight. You were inadvertently bracing, your abs and with your breath. You were pulling the weight up, pushing the floor away rather with your feet and your legs, and then pulling the bar through. It's all the basics. You can get really nitpicky with things, but largely a lot of that come down to people's individual body mechanics over time. Anyway, so let's just say you hit 110, and that was roughly where I stopped you. I think you could have done more, but that's where I started to see a couple of breakdowns in your technique, and that's where your back was softening. You went from being quite a straight back, and we were just getting a bit of rounding. Nothing terribly drastic, but it once it starts happening, it's only going to get worse from there on in. I really don't want you to get injured. And the other thing that happened, trying to get my hand in place. If you think just this part of my hand is like your hips. Your hips were starting to fly up before the bar even moved, so you can see you're put in an even more compromised position, so there's even more strain on the back. So, as I said before, I think a lot of hamstring work, hamstring curls of different sorts, if they've got the glute ham developer, that would be really useful. GHD be really useful. But anything for your hamstrings, and hyperextensions for your back. Let's build up those spinal erectors, both sides of your spine. Be really good for accessory movements. In terms of what you're going to do in your deadlift, don't think about what you're aiming for. Think about what you did last time. So your last time we hit 110. Now realistically, I would like you to hit somewhere between 4 and 6 reps, singles, because you're pulling singles, right? When it's between 85% and 100% of that. So let's think about 85%. I think at a 110 deadlift, 85% of that puts you at roughly 92 kilos. I think it's a pretty safe thing with deadlift to go up in 5 kilo jumps. So I would probably go from your 92 to 97 and a half, well, 92 and a half, 97 and a half, 102 and a half, 107 and a half. So that's 4 lifts now, and we're still just shy of it. And then you can gauge it from there. If things are still moving well and you're happy, you can make the jump to maybe 112, and then you can walk away, or if you're not feeling so great, just hit the 110 again. As I said to you before, you're really new to this. You're going to make strength gains really, really quickly. So you may think, after pulling 100, say you've pulled 112 and a half, you may think, and reviewing your video, like I said, it's super important you get the video footage from the side so you can see what's going on. If you're happy that your back is straight and your hips aren't shooting up long before the bar moves, then you've earned the right to put a little bit more on. But you're not proving anything to anyone at this point. What we want to do is just get in 4 to 6 really good reps at 85% plus, and just learn to strain with the weight, because straining with the weight on the deadlift is it's just something you're gonna have to learn. It's very people give up deadlifts quite a lot. I've given up, huge number of them, some that I might have been able to grind through had I had that kind of fortitude to keep pulling, because quite often strength is measured in the amount of time you can strain. You know, if you've got someone who can strain for 2 seconds longer under tension than another athlete, then the chances are they're going to be able to pull more weight. Anyway, I hope this makes sense. Let's just put the numbers down on the chalkboard so as you've got them. So for your 85%, we'll start at 85% plus, and we want 4 to 6 singles, 4 to 6 sets of one. So we'll start at like 92.5, go to 97.5, 102.5, 107.5, and then, so there's 4 already. You've got room for another 2. You know, you might want to make the jump, you might go to 110, or you may say, I'm going to go to 112.5, that's 5, and then, or 5 and 6, or straight through to 5, and then maybe you'll do another one, you decide to do like 115, just say. Yeah, just keep in touch. I reckon if you do a conventional deadlift session again next week, and then we may rotate it. You know, we start going through these rotations, and I'll try and get another one of these to you, which will explain roughly how you can do that first session, just to find where you're planting your your flag in the ground. So as you got that number like the 110 that we got from the deadlift session the other day. All right then, John, I'll speak to you later.